All right, guys, how we doing? Chuck Silver here. It's August 25th. We have 11 days left to draft. I posted in Discord we have 12. I was counting today and Thursday, so get your drafts in. This weekend and next weekend are going to be the best weekends to draft. It's kind of unfortunate that Underdog does not have any kind of puppy or Pomeranian or any kind of lower buy-in with at least a 50 max going this weekend. Seems like a miss. Best Ball Mania is going to fill. I want to say it's up like 5% in just the last 3 or 4 days. So this is definitely going to fill. Last year, I want to say it filled right on the day that the season started, like just a couple hours before that Thursday night game. If I had to guess, I would think this fills before. Still has 100,000 entrants to go, so that's a lot, but it's looking pretty good. Big Eliminator is going to fill. Big Dog, I mean, it's going to get close enough. People are going to chase the overlay at least to make it rake free. Same with the Mastiff. These two are definitely going to overlay. Just a matter of how much. Like the Sprint, if they made this like $5 or $15, I would have played a bunch, but $50, it's out of my bankroll. It's great overlay though, great value if you can throw some entries in there. But the marathon, I think I only have 20 in there right now. I want to get at least another 30. Make it at least like 50, 60. Thought I was going to get 100, but I'm just not going to take the time. There's too many other contests on the other sites. And then get a few more Best Ball Manias in, but we are going to draft a Best Ball Mania today. If anybody happens to be in the chat, go ahead and jump in with me. There's 5 people. We need 5 more people to fill the draft. Let's take a look at ADPs. I hope you guys listened to me on Rashi Rice a few weeks ago, a month ago, 2 months ago, because his ADP, he's almost undraftable in BBM. I still think it's okay. Pull this up here. Rashi Rice. I mean, he's still up 6 spots in the past week. He's up to 41. He's up to like 36, even higher on the other sites. So, underdog drafters tend to be sharper. So this is probably closer to what his value is, but I'm still very comfortable drafting him around here. And then anytime he falls past ADP and I have the opportunity to draft him, I'm probably going to take him. And let's see, what pick slot did I get? I got the 7th pick. I'm not taking Rashi Rice at 31. If he's there at 42, I'm probably going to take him. And then hopefully I can just do something to get a little bit unique to kind of make up for uh, drafting Rashi Rice, I guess. Some other guys up this week. Bo Nix, we know that he's the starter for the Denver Broncos. Zach Wilson is at the 1 yard line right now. Cardinals and Broncos are in the second quarter, last day of preseason. 3rd and 1, Zach Wilson, no gain. Well, I have to imagine they go for it here, so we'll see. But that doesn't really matter. We like Bo Nix. We can be reasonably confident he's going to start for 17 weeks, and so that's a big deal for me. Is starting in weeks 15, 16, 17. I think Bigsby's up. I started clicking on him a little bit. I'm just kind of sick of clicking on the other 0 RB targets at the end of drafts. Don't mind mixing him in. They said he's better. It's pretty hard to be worse than he was last year. So if he has any kind of role, then he'll have some value. Tim Patrick is a wide receiver I've been adding in the last round. Again, just sick of all the other guys I've been drafting, and it looks like he could be the wide receiver too for Denver. Maybe it's Josh Reynolds, but Tim Patrick was the better talent, I'm pretty sure, before he got hurt. Let's see if we have anything. Jalen Tober is kind of coming up in ADP a lot, but by the time we get to this 166 range anyway, wide receivers are kind of tough. So I don't mind clicking on him basically anywhere as long as you're not reaching like 30 picks. I do not mind clicking on him even ahead of ADP. Deami Brown, I think I like it more in like 20 round drafts on the other sites, but an 18th round pick here isn't terrible. Doesn't I was going to say it doesn't look like they're going to make a move before the season starts, but there's still, a week and a half left, 2 weeks until their first game, so they could do something, I guess. Washington. Nervous about Luke McCaffrey. I heard about a shoulder thing, and then I just don't know how good he actually is. So I've clicked on him a few times, but again, a guy I like more in like 20 round drafts if you can get him that late. Najee Harris is up. Jalen Warren's falling. I think Jalen Warren's fine. The point is, if he's there for the late weeks, and that's one of the ways you can kind of make up that lost leverage in these contests. Brees Hall or Justin Jefferson? We're going with Justin Jefferson. And Brees at 8%. Bijan went at the 4 pick. This is a pretty fantastic room. There's only one other badge in here. How often does this happen? Tyreek first, CMC, CD Lamb. I mean, as long as those 3 go in the first 3, it's fine. I mentioned that I'm not too interested in clicking Bijan. I got him at like pick 9 earlier, so I took him there, but pretty much taking Brees Hall and all of these receivers in front of him. We'll see how these guys handle the turn. Yeah, my favorite second round target lately has been Nico Collins. I always forget to turn off my. I'm gonna turn off all those percentages. It's kind of distracting, right? And since I'm only going to have like 40 entries in BBM, I really don't care about combos. I just want my guys. So I don't want this to influence me not picking certain players a lot like I would in the other contests. Let's see here. Save, refresh. Slow drafts shortened to 4 hours, which is super cool because might still be in like 100 of them on Underdog, and it's not great. I mean, I'm on the clock in a few right now. Couldn't even be bothered to make these picks before I started the stream. It's just hopefully this is over in a week, and then the slow draft shortened on the other sites to an hour. At least Underdog kind of has this transition period with 4 hours, but yeah, it's gonna be a fun one. Take a look at my exposures after I make a couple picks here. Saquon is definitely my biggest fade. Oh, this guy went Marvin Harrison, Nico Collins. I think I literally just did that in a draft earlier today at 12 and 13. And this guy took Debo, would have been my pick. So we'll just take Drake London, get a little bit of ADP value. But I turn that off. Looks like I only have like one or two teams with Drake London and Justin Jefferson. So this is great. Pretty happy to take that. All right, one more refresh here. And just in case you're new to the channel, the tool I'm using here is Spike Week. Uh, it's a pretty nice overlay for when you're drafting to show me the playoff correlation weeks. It highlights them for me, highlights, just players with correlation period, and helps me keep track of my exposures and my combinations of players since I'm drafting so many teams. I'm up to like 1,350 teams. I'm gonna end up with 15 or 1,600 depending what kind of contest drop this week. I'm more interested in doing like the new contests that are lower buy-in where I can get in a bunch of entries where talk about like the time box contest. So BBM's been open for months, so ADPs have changed drastically, and so there's some teams that are just impossible to draft today that were drafted early in the contest. Where the time box contest, like if they dropped a puppy today, you don't really have to worry about that, and you can kind of just draft freely. And I mean, for me, the guy I talk about on stream the most lately is Rashi Rice, and that's a big deal for me being able to draft him because I still think he's the best value in the earlier rounds. Nothing really weird here. In the second round, everything seems pretty normal. Let's see. Up to 263 teams for regular rankings. Rashi Rice, number one, no surprise. Gabe Davis, Connor, Ty Chandler, Khalil Herbert, my top five. I want to get Tony Pollard up in here. Really excited about what I saw to Tony Pollard in the preseason game today. I don't know, just the fact that he got every snap, and it could be just that they wanted to give him that whole drive, and his drive happened to be longer than Taze's drive, but he looked good, and the stats from the end of last season were very encouraging. I still think that he's such a good value in that 100 ADP range. I mean, yeah, 100.9. Zeke, a guy I'm trying not to click on, but if I need a running back, I still think he's a starter. And regardless of if his efficiency is going to tank, I mean, it's going to be one of the best offenses in the NFL. I'm really surprised Mari Cooper's still up here. It doesn't feel like I've been drafting him that much lately, but I guess I was clicking on him a ton before. And Khalil Herbert, also surprised I don't have more of him. It's been my favorite zero RB target for a while. Let's see what we got here. Josh Allen, Travis Kelsey, Pacheco. I see such I don't know, both sides of the Pacheco coin. I see people hyping him up, and I see people saying he's a terrible pick. We're taking Mike Evans at pick 31. Yeah, that'd be a snap pick here, boss. If he was gone, we would have went for DK or DJ to get that playoff correlation. Probably would have clicked DK today since he had that touchdown yesterday. That's how our minds work in preseason. And then hopefully, if I can get Rashi Rice as my fourth wide receiver, I'm pretty comfortable with that. Especially, this is probably a pretty hard combo to get in BBM, so be very happy with that. Take a closer look. Very flat at quarterback. I'm almost disappointed in myself that I don't have a take at quarterback. Like not a single guy I think deserves to be more than 14%. And I dislike that Deshaun Watson's my highest exposed guy. I'm trying not to take him, but I'm drafting a bunch of guys from his team. And Njoku's my favorite value tight end. Love Amari Cooper. And then Jerome Ford, I'm super interested in right now. Like Nick Chubb's falling, but I don't know. I kind of already have enough, so I'm nervous about it. Stafford, yep. Mayfield, Purdy, Justin Herbert could get a little bit more of Justin Herbert. Justin Fields, I guess, is like my strongest take because he's not even starting. I have 11%. I have more on the other sites. This is disgusting. Jalen Hurts. Sorry if you're watching Jets. It makes me so nervous to have a bunch of Aaron Rodgers. He's fine though. He's fine. I did put Brees Hall on the cover today, so yeah, all these guys. Like I feel like I want to get more Patrick Mahomes, but it's so hard to stack him now with where his wide receivers and Travis Kelsey are going. Surprised I don't have more Lamar. My fades. A Rich. Surprised I even have 5%. I want more Kyler. I want more Jaden Daniels. Surprised I only have 4% too. I feel like should be really targeting him on almost every team that you draft Tyreek and Jalen Waddle on. Fine with this fade. This is one where I think he could be a great value at his ADP. Probably need to get on him a little bit more, and then the rest of these guys are just bottom dwellers. Taking Russell Wilson once, nice. Is Rashi Rice gone? No, Rashi Rice is still available. All right, we gotta fade 3 more picks. Tank Dell, Zay Flowers. If I miss out on Rashi Rice, I mean, Tank Dell would be ideal, but he's probably gone too. Probably Zay Flowers. I don't think I have any playoff correlations here. Don't really want to take Terry over any of all these guys, although it's not a bad idea to take Terry McLaurin with my next pick. Sam Laporta. So I'm gonna get at least one of the 3 receivers I want: Tank Dell, Zay Flowers, or Rashi Rice. So just it's tough because I'm gonna have my choice. Kind of want him to pick Tank Dell or Rashi, so I don't have to decide. Because this is a decision, we're getting Tank Dell a little past ADP. It's tough to get him here, but I don't think Tank Dell's ADP moves up in the next week. But then Tank Dell 7 picks past ADP. This is a tough player to get here too. Wow, no playoff correlation to tie break. I have 2 game stacks with Rashi Rice. First one with Tank Dell. But the thing, like, I get in this decision a lot, and the thing that I go with Rashi almost every time if there's no playoff correlation is Tank Dell is at best the wide receiver 2 on his team, where I'm pretty confident Rashi Rice is wide receiver 1. Tank Dell is going to have bigger spike weeks. I'm pretty confident of that, but I don't know. Maybe on this team I could have went with a Tank Dell since I don't really need the stability of a Rashi Rice. But again, I don't know. That's an interesting one. Yeah, I could have flipped a coin there, I guess. Mahomes and the Kelsey stack. That was pretty cool. That worked out for him. Jamar, Waddle, Neighbors, Tank Dell. Higgins, Keenan Allen. Haven't seen him go this early in a bit. Usually, I mean, I've gotten Keenan Allen at pick 70 in the past week, always in the 60s. Him and Christian Kirk are falling pretty hard. Brian Thomas's target share was very discouraging in yesterday's preseason game, and so I still like Brian Thomas, especially when he falls past ADP. But I've definitely been scooping up Christian Kirk when he falls past ADP into the 6th round. Seems like a pretty good value. And then Evan Engram, I'm so low on Evan Engram, and It's kind of scary because if Christian Kirk misses time, Evan Ingram's going to get like 9 targets a game. ADP is still 76, so it's pretty reasonable, but 3%, it's kind of scary. Like I have more Dalton Kincaid than Evan Ingram. Doesn't seem right. It's probably because I'm pairing Dalton Kincaid with Josh Allen. Top tight ends: Tyler Conklin, no surprise. George Kittle, the best elite tight end at value. This is gross because I've been talking about how bad the Patriots are going to be. Projected to score the lowest points in the NFL. It's 300 and was it 315 divided by 17? I don't know. It's not a lot of points. Say likely, like taking shots on him. The hope is that he plays alongside Mark Andrews, but what if he's better than Mark Andrews at this point? Could be a thing. This guy took Mark Andrews from the guy that was going to take Lamar. Calvin Ridley. I thought he looked okay. I only watched him play a few snaps today, but looked fine. What happened here? Oh, Zach Wilson passed for a touchdown? Good for you. Good for him. It's almost halftime of the Cardinals-Broncos game. Let's see, we're up in a pick. Xavier Worthy up to 53. Like, Xavier Worthy over Amari Cooper? Dude, if I get Amari Cooper right now, don't do it. You already have 4 receivers, you jerk. If I got Amari Cooper 10 pass ADP, this would probably be my favorite BBM team. I don't like any of these picks. Jaden Reed I could go with for that Minnesota correlation. I'm gonna try and just get Christian Watson on the comeback though. I don't like James Cook. I don't like Dalton Kincaid. I'll take Christian Kirk, I guess. I don't love. It's like I don't know. Maybe it's better in theory to take the anchor RB and James Cook, even Rashad White, Kenneth Walker, Joe Mixon. But I just can't do it. To me, there's not that big of a difference between this group and then the next group of running backs. David Montgomery, Kamara. I still like Kamara. James Conner, Najee Harris. Like, give me any of these 4 guys at their ADPs over these guys. Because think about the 2v2. Christian Kirk and David Montgomery versus James Cook and Keon Coleman, Lad McConkey, Jameson Williams. No, thank you. It's kind of cherry picked because I do like JSN, and he looked good yesterday. Tyler Lockett's starting to make me nervous, but his ADP is also falling, so I'm picking him pretty frequently this past week. Let's see the rest of my running back exposure. Singletary, been saying it all summer. Cheapest, no one going past him in ADP is getting more touches than Devin Singletary. Raheem Mostert, it's super scary because why would this ever work out after he scored 21 touchdowns last season? But if it does work out, it's going to be a pretty great value. Kamara, yeah, you see, I'm just living in that. I think they were calling it zombie RB range. I don't know. It might be pretty close to just 0 RB, but yeah, and then our other actual 0 RB targets. Kind of getting nervous about Jalen Wright. Not sure I'm really going to click on him anymore. Their offensive line is not good, as I understand it. Doesn't really scare me for Mostert and A-Chain. Their team's good enough to overcome that. Brian Robinson. Nice comments from the coach. He's a RB1. It's very good because we like him more than Eckler, although I don't mind taking Eckler if he falls. I think he's going a little bit higher than I'd like on Underdog, though. This guy took Christian Watson. All right, that's okay. I can take at least now I can take a running back and feel less bad about it. Just take Montgomery or George Kittle. Could take George Kittle. George Kittle, 79.90, 103. If I can get any of these 3 backs at 79, I don't like any of the backs at 90 is the problem. I just end up reaching for Tony Pollard. I'm going to take George Kittle. Mentioned going over here. He's the best value elite tight end. We're going to stick to that. Have any big fades at running back? 1 share of all these guys. Nice. Saquon, 1%. Jonathan Taylor. This is one that I kind of wish I mixed him in a little bit more. I'm gonna try to get this up to at least like 4% if I can. Derrick Henry, another fade that's again making me nervous, but I don't know. I could. It's just so hard to click on him over the receivers in that range. Ray Davis. I've come around on him, but I just am not excited about the Bills running back. Like any Bills running back, I guess. Kamani Vidal's an interesting one. People are so hot and cold on him. Beats thought he wasn't going to make the team. Now it looks like he is going to make the team. And now people are talking about, oh, he could, overtake a old Gus Edwards and a hobbled J.K. Dobbins, and he could, but I don't know. I have 3%. I'm probably okay with that. I don't think there's any surprises here. Probably a little too much DJ Shark. Yep, all looks good to me. All right. Mixon, Montgomery, Evan Ingram. I mean, this is a way to do this build if you're going to get a running back, quarterback, and a tight end by round 6. Get 2 stud wide receivers, third kind of stud wide receiver, and then, probably a good value Hollywood Brown, assuming he comes back okay. So Kyler naked. In this spot, I would just reach for Dak. You have CeeDee Lamb, and yeah, Kyler has more rushing upside, but like, if you had Trey McBride, this would be cool. I just think Dak adds more points. Would have loved to get James Conner right there, but it's all right. We get Kamara. It's not a terrible consolation for our RB1. As you can see, I'm not touching any of these people. Keon Coleman, 1%. Lad McConkey, 0%. Jameson Williams, 0%. Have I drafted Lad? I'm sure I have. I spent $5 on Lad. Jameson Williams, 0. And then Keon Coleman. Drafted Keon Coleman a couple times. Looks like twice. I'm just going to keep full fading them. If they burn me, they burn me. I'm not convinced of the talent. Lad McConkey's in a really good situation, though, because the other options, Palmer, DJ Shark, Brendan Rice, Simi Fahoko, whatever. It's not great. Keon Coleman. He has a little more competition, I guess. I think Khalil Shakir is pretty good. But again, just as long as they don't go off in weeks 15, 16, 17, be pretty happy fading them. We're definitely going to go for one of these running backs. DeAndre Hopkins ADP starting to go back down after it got pretty deep. I was pretty happy picking up past pick 90, pick 100. I can't believe Jonathan Brooks isn't falling more. On the other sites, because of the Q tag and the news, like I mentioned this before, we knew that he was going to miss the beginning of the season. It should have been baked into his ADP. Otherwise, he'd be going a little bit higher. But he's falling like a rock on the other side. So I'm probably not going to take him much over here. I already have 9%. With as many more drafts as I'm going to do, it's not going to fall that much. I'm going to get my exposure on the other sites. What am I at pick? Do I think Tony Pollard makes it to pick 103? Like straight up, I'm taking Pollard over every single player here. It's not even really a debate for me. That'd be a pretty good one too. If I get Tony Pollard and then get Brian Robinson with my next pick. Brock Purdy would be a pretty comfortable quarterback. Trevor Lawrence is too. One of those guys will almost always be there. Did someone just take Brian Robinson? Oh no, I didn't cue him. All right, we got Tony Pollard. I don't know. I don't see why I would take any player here over Pollard. Like Dak, if I had a reason to. Jaden Daniels, the rushing upside's nice, but it's not comfortable. Dibs. I like Dubs. ends up being pretty good for my playoff correlations. Zach Moss, I'm still convinced is the best running back to own in Cincinnati. Pretty happy that he fell a little bit, still not as much as I'd like. Devin Singletary value. This range is pretty strong. Yeah, Jacoby would be a great six wide receiver on this team, full playoff correlation. If we miss on him, I'll probably go for Trey Tucker at the end of the draft, since it's such clean playoff correlation. And they're both kind of the types of players that could go off for 1 week in the playoffs. We know Jacoby can anyway, and then from what I've seen from Trey Tucker, I think it seems like he's capable of it. Minute left in the first half of this Broncos Cardinals game. 14-0 Broncos. This Cardinals team has like 12 yards. Oh, Clayton Tune has 100 yards passing. They're just not doing anything with it. Interesting. Let's see. Hope you guys have been using the Occupy Fantasy preseason plugs to win money during the preseason. Been pretty spot on. The team here has been pretty great. If you missed out on it for this season, don't worry. We have regular season content as well. Some of the best in the business. It's just the best value content I think you're going to find out there. So give us a shot. I mean, if you're watching us, if you like our best ball content, you're going to like our DFS content. So Khalil Shakir, pick 100. Who was the player I was targeting next? Brian Robinson. Clean playoff correlation. If we miss out on him, I guess Singletary's fine. Could go Dubs, but yeah, like these are the teams to me that feel the best for sure. 5 stud receivers. George Kittle, my favorite elite tight end. And we have 3 guys who are the starting running back. Like Kamara should be some kind of workhorse, even if he's not very good at running the football. He's going to catch the football, I'm pretty sure. That pick 80, it's pretty good. Pollard, I really don't mind reaching for him. I don't see any way, like if assuming he's healthy the whole year, most of the season, I don't see any way he doesn't smash this ADP. We took him at pick, what was it, pick 15 last year in that super stream draft with Brian, Chris, Ken, and myself over CD Lamb, dude. And now we don't want him at pick 100. Yeah, just hit on like a value quarterback, and this is the best way to construct a team in 2024 for best ball. You can argue, you can point out other team builds that have worked, but if you look at the data, this is the team build that works the best, that works the most. Maybe mix in an elite quarterback in there. I'm not sure. I want to say elite quarterbacks slightly hurt advance rates, but you have slightly higher expected value in the playoffs, I think. And all the elite quarterbacks bricked hard last year, so it probably skews the data a little bit. But I'm pretty sure the data it couldn't have just been from one season. We have 4 seasons of data to go off of for best ball now. So I was about to check something. Let's see. And Joku feels very strong at this range. Let's see, where'd Evan Engram go? He went at ADP. I'm always curious to see, Evan Engram caught 2 touchdowns yesterday. Is that going to affect his ADP? It really shouldn't, because it's what we expected. He's going to be one of the top target earners. Yeah, this is a tough range. And the last one where I said I'd take Tony Pollard over everyone that was on top of the list, like, kind of worried about Rashid Shaheed, but I kind of already have enough, and I'm getting him past ADP enough anyway. I'm not really considering him right now. Lockett, same deal, getting him way past ADP on the other sites. So the decision is between Trevor Lawrence, Jacoby Myers, and Jerome Ford. We're going to take Trevor Lawrence because I don't have a quarterback, and I mean, Kirk Cousins is the obvious quarterback after, but it doesn't feel great when he's your QB1. At least Trevor Lawrence. I think Trevor Lawrence underperformed last year. I don't know if he actually scored less than his expected fantasy points, but he's probably good at football. He should be fine this year. And we have our Week 17 correlation with the guy I've been talking about for 20 minutes, Tony Pollard. Yeah, like it would be super sick to get Jacoby Myers to tack onto this. Be pretty happy with Jerome Ford. Thing with Cleveland is their offensive line is top 3 in the NFL. It's a really good team to have a running back from, especially if you think their quarterback sucks like I do. I know he's my top exposed guy, but I'm so worried he's not good at football. We were talking about in the staff chat, Jameis Winston. There's not really any super flex drafts left, but this would have been a pretty good super flex target. I think I got like I'm in the double digits on him, and I have a few slow super flexes, so I'll still get a few more percent. But we're never drafting this guy in regular best ball. But if he does end up starting for Cleveland, I almost feel like it's better for their skill position players, Amari Cooper and Joku. I mean, if you told me Flacco was starting in Cleveland again this year, I probably have even more of the Cleveland guys. It's all just a hope that Deshaun Watson's not bad. Dynasty Superflex IDP, the role FF. I would love to, but I am just not familiar enough with any defensive players to. Uh, I just don't know the defensive players well enough to have any idea what I'm looking at. It's unfortunate. You know, I play fantasy football. I haven't gotten into an IDP league yet, though. I'd be interested. It's less information, so you can probably make better decisions if you take the time to research the stuff. But I just haven't had the time yet. I wish I did. Dynasty IDP sounds even more interesting. Matt Prater closes out the half with a field goal. Not bad. We have one more. Well, if you're watching this after the fact, it's probably already over. But at 3 p.m. in Los Angeles on Sunday, there's one more preseason game tonight. Got Patriots versus Commanders. I don't know. Maybe we'll get some information from the Commanders rotations on if there's another guy or how much they really like Diami Brown. I guess it would have been nice to get Jerome Ford there. Double stack with Gabe Davis. I don't have the opportunity to do this much, so I'm going to go for it. With Gabe Davis, the reason why I'm so interested in him, other than, people have been interested in Gabe Davis in past years. He burned a lot of people, right? He had, 4 touchdowns in one game a couple seasons ago, and he still has spike weeks every season. But it's like if he puts up 21 week and zero the next week, even if he puts up 21 week, does zero for 3 weeks in a row, puts up 20, and just keeps doing that. I mean, what is that averaging? Like 5 fantasy points on the season? I'll take that all day. Give me one of those 20-point weeks in the playoffs. And then on top of that, in this Jacksonville offense, I'm really hoping he's a number 3 target earner behind Evan Engram and Christian Kirk. And I don't know. I don't want to read too much about Brian Thomas's snap share yesterday or target share yesterday. I'm sorry, but Gabe Davis, the number of air yards that Zay Jones and Calvin Ridley left on the field at the end of last year when Christian Kirk was out is just it's unreal, dude. Like 200 plus air yards for each of those guys in multiple games to close out the season. You convert a couple of those into catches. I mean, a Gabe Davis touchdown is very valuable because it's usually a long one, right? And so again, if he, bricks most weeks but puts up 20 the weeks that he scores points, averages 5 points on the season, I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled with him as a pick. So I'm like that's literally all I'm hoping for. That's also why he was one of my like really hard targets in weekly winners. Where some guys I might take over him in this format, I'm taking Gabe Davis over them all day. Nice. Got a Gabe Davis rant in today. It is a good day. Mike Williams up to 130 again. I don't know. I've kind of just been ignoring him and Darnell Mooney. Wish I grabbed more Mooney when he was around 150, but I had no reason to when he was at 150 because we didn't know that the trade was, or I'm sorry, not the trade, but that Rondell Moore was going to get injured. J.K. Dobbins is up. I still don't mind clicking him in this range, though. He's one of the last guys who we think has a chance of starting. Co-starter with Gus Edwards, maybe. Charbonnet. Trey Benson is falling like a rock. It's really interesting. He's falling a lot harder than Blake Corum. which I guess actually does make sense because Kyron has an injury history and James Conner has an injury history, but he's actually missed less games over the last couple seasons than a lot of other running backs that you would think were more durable than him. I don't know, they got less injured than him. I have 3 running backs. Dalton Schultz is my tight end too. Doesn't make sense. I don't want any of these receivers. Ty Chandler or Tyler Algier. Go with Tyler Algier. I have 7 game stacks with Tyler Algier. I only have 4 with Ty Chandler, and it's pretty even on them. Like I think I'm gonna get both of their quarterbacks anyway. Maybe I won't get Minnesota now, but hopefully Kirk Cousins makes it back, and that's pretty nice. Pretty nice one. Brian Robinson for that Week 17 stack. Maybe I think I was still going to look at adding Trey Tucker. Maybe if I somehow miss on running backs, I'll add Madison for that Vegas correlation for the playoffs. It's pretty gross down here. Once like a Steam A, I'm surprised I only have 3% Justice Hill here. I have like 12% on the other sites. Same with a Steam A, I'm up to like 13%. And it's a little bit too much. There's just no one else to spread the love to. If I didn't already double stack Jacksonville, I'd be a little more interested in taking Bigsby. It's still fine. If you're going to triple stack, this is a way to do it. You know, like I guess early-ish round receiver. I think this is late round, right? Late round receiver, Gabe Davis, value quarterback, and then last round backup running back. It's a pretty good way to stack a team. But yeah, once Khalil Herbert and Antonio Gibson are off the board, it's very uncomfortable if you're not already strong at running back. And I have, 3 guys that I hope are starting in Tyler Algier. Don't know what to do with Phillies running back room. I know that the coaching staff at least likes Kenneth Gainwell, so that's the reason enough for me to click on him over Shipley. Madison, I only have 5% on Underdog. Could add some over here. It makes sense, though, because I'm taking him in like the 20th and the 19th rounds on the other side. It's only 18 here. I don't know what to do with the Giants running back room. Cam Akers looked good. Damian Pierce looked bad. I don't think I can take him, but again, if you're in like a 20-round draft, it's probably a little bit better over there. Imagine Cam Akers is a thing this year. He's going to be very low owned in BBM. I don't hate taking shots if you don't like any of the other 0 RB, like end of draft targets I just said. Miles Sanders he might not be the worst pick. Dylan Laube instead of Alexander Madison seems fine. After that, though, there's nothing. This is a wasteland. Like Ty Johnson is going to score some fantasy points this year, I'm pretty sure. Tyler Goodson, if something happens to Jonathan Taylor, it could be Tyler Goodson over Evan Hull. This could be pretty valuable. And then Chris Rodriguez is like the last guy down here. I guess Dearness Johnson, but I've heard good things about Tank Bigsby. Haven't heard anything about Johnson recently. Chuba, Ray Davis. Chuba's their starting running back week 1. He has value for sure, especially on 0 RB teams. This running back room I have here is probably a little bit too strong for him, but yeah, we're going to take Dalton Schultz way past ADP. Get my playoff correlation for Rashi Rice too. Nice. So we're going to be done at running back. Love Dalton Schultz. People are worried he's not going to get enough targets in a great offense. I look at it as he's the cheapest piece of a great offense. Why wouldn't I pick him? No, we'll probably target Jaleel McLaughlin, Braylon Allen, Khalil Herbert. And then I'm going to end up adding a 6th running back onto this team, yeah. As for my QB2, I mean, Baker is the ideal pick, of course. Who do I have from Pollard? Sam Darnold is fine. This might end up being a 3 QB build anyway, I think. Two tight ends, 3 QB sounds good. I feel like I already have enough Justin Fields. And like this is not a bad team to add a Justin Fields on. Kind of the security of Trevor Lawrence to make the risk a little bit easier. Gardner Minshew would not be a bad 3rd quarterback either. If I didn't have Justin Jefferson, I'd just go for Gardner Minshew and Trey Tucker probably in the last rounds. So I was like driving most of the weekend. I wasn't paying super attention to this weekend's preseason games. I don't think there was too much though. that changes anything we're doing in BBM. Like the Kamani Vidal stuff, because he rested, I believe, is the reason why people are kind of thinking he's going to make the team now. Let's see. Reading some a tweet from Dwayne McFarland. Shout out to Dwayne. Just some stuff that happened this weekend. Bryce Young looked fine. I hope he is. Chuba Hubbard played 100% of the snaps on the first drive. And then Miles Sanders handled 60% of the snaps over the next 3 drives. You know, it's just tough because if we don't think either of those guys is going to start during the playoff weeks, unless Jonathan Brooks gets hurt again, then it's tough. But if you need points in the beginning of the season until your 0 RB guys kick in, then they're great. Deontay Johnson, 100% route participation. It's beautiful. Yeah, Deontay. Remember what Adam Thielen was doing at the beginning of last season? Well, that's Deontay this year. Love him, especially in PPR formats. Seems pretty strong. And even Thielen himself, 92% route participation. Wonderful. 64% of those routes came from the slot. Again, it's probably a great pick in every format, not just PPR. And he took Baker Mayfield. Who'd he pair him with? At least he has Godwin. That's fine. I have 6 receivers. I don't need another one. We're taking Khalil Herbert. I could take Braylon Allen for the correlation with Trevor Lawrence in week 15, but I don't think the possibility of him starting in week 15 to correlate with my quarterback is enough to take him over Khalil Herbert. Because in my ranks, they're in my mind, Khalil Herbert's way ahead of Braylon Allen. Part of that is the hope that he gets traded, but even if he doesn't, he's going to have a role on this team. Is he better than DeAndre Swift? Maybe. Kind of stopped taking DeAndre Swift just with the thought that I'm probably going to take Khalil Herbert at the end of most of my drafts now. Still taking DeAndre Swift when he falls, and then Roshan. I think I had a couple percent, but that was kind of just like if I'm desperate for a running back and I have so much of the other two, I should have a couple shares of him, right? Anthony Richardson. I watched this game, and the first drive looked phenomenal. Every drive after that, mm-mm. We'll have to see what happens here. One of the other reasons why I mentioned in the beginning of the stream, I'm kind of disappointed how under the field I am on Jonathan Taylor. If Anthony Richardson's not good, they're going to depend on Taylor a little bit more than we thought. And I think his price is already pretty high. My main argument against him was he's like 3 years removed from his RB1 season. He could still do it, though, if he gets the work. I'd rather take him closer to the end of the second round after players like Debo and Nico Collins. Alec Pierce, again, is running. I want to say Alec Pierce ran the most routes in the NFL last year, while Cade Otton led in snap share. Wait, ran the most routes or played the most snaps? Either way, Alec Pierce was on the field for every snap for the Colts last year. It's like 97% or something stupid. During the preseason with the starters, he was on the field for 90%. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, so in 11 personnel, he played 100% of snaps and ran a route on 90% of snaps overall. So he only played 25% of 12 personnel snaps. Obviously, it's Adonai Mitchell and Pittman probably. But Alec Pierce, I feel like it's kind of similar to Gabe Davis, but he might give you a 20-point game twice a season, which, if you pick him in the last round, is definitely enough. Okay, Tank Bigsby is definitely the number 2 over Dearness Johnson. Let me get the board up. Sorry, guys. Yoshavas, 156? Dude. If you told me a couple months ago Josh Downs and Yoshavas were going to get drafted right, 1-2 right after each other, I would have thought something crazy happened to Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase practiced today. It's pretty good. I'm going to talk about my worries about. I'm just going to take Sam Darnold now. There's no one I want that I'm going to be. Like, Sam Darnold's the only player I'd be disappointed on missing out on right now. And ahead of ADP, I don't care. I have Justin Jefferson. For Justin Jefferson to be good, Sam Darnold doesn't have to be outstanding, but if Justin Jefferson's good. Sam Darnold's probably going to be at least league average. Sam Darnold, a league average quarterback this year. Is he top 16? Maybe. Gabe Davis ran a route on 100% of snaps with the chart with the starters. I don't know if we can read too much into that though, because Christian Kirk played 25% or ran a route on 25% of snaps and played 30 per 7 and 11 personnel. So, oh, he didn't play in the preseason finale. I'm sorry. So just completely ignore it. But Gabe Davis has been on the field with Trevor Lawrence 100% of snaps. Dude, why is this guy going so late? Gabe Davis. Steelers dumpster fire. Uh, it's so hard to even be interested in Najee and Jalen Warren anymore. I'm still gonna click them, but talk about the Patriots could be historically bad. Steelers are gonna be awful, man. One of my best friends is a big Steelers fan. I told him George Pickens might, or I told him George Pickens is not good, and he got so mad at me. I'm like, because we were talking about when the rumors with Ayuk were heavy swirling, and I told him, or no, he said if Ayuk went to the Steelers, Ayuk is the second option. And I'm just like, it's just not a thing. Ayuk would be the first, second, and third options. Pickens would be the fourth. Najee Harris would come right after that. On the Steelers, so Pickens, I'm exaggerating. Pickens is fine. The spike week potential, it's enough for me. I don't think he's that great, but I think he can catch long touchdowns, and so he's going a little higher than I feel good about clicking him. But I am clicking him when he falls into the 50s. It's much more comfortable than it was when he was going in the high 40s, early 40s, I guess. And then Pat Fryermuth, there's some concern that he's not even going to get the majority. Well, he'll probably get the majority of snaps at tight end, but if he's going to get maybe like 60% of the snaps at tight end, Pat Fryermuth, that's not good. And he's pretty cheap, but he's cheap because he had a terrible season last year. If he can return to the form that he was at 2 years ago, Pat Fryermuth, we'd be pretty happy with that at his ADP. But if he's not even going to get the opportunity to be on the field most of the snaps, then it's tough. Darnell Washington played 100% of the snaps with Russell Wilson in week 3. Overall, Pat Fryermuth is at 60% for the preseason with Russell Wilson, who's a presumed starter. It's just tough. Pretty low on Fryermuth as it is, but give me Jonnu Smith, Noah Fant, Tyler Conklin's likelies, Tucker Crafts. Give me Zach Ertz at ADP over Pat Fryermuth. Juwan Johnson, it's not even close. I hate this running back situation I put myself in. I really like it when Khalil Herbert's the last running back I take, and I missed out on Greg Dortch too. Decision here. Who's my third quarterback? Well, oh man, if I all right. Well, we're just gonna panic pick Whittington here because there's no one else I immediately want. Clicking on him too much as my panic pick, but Trey Tucker would have been a better panic pick. Oops. Might go for that one. If I can pull this off, that's fine. And then I'm done. All right, 5 running back room. I mean, I have 2 guys I'm confident are starting. I think Brian Robinson starts too. I expect him to be in more of a committee than these two, unless Eckler's just really done. Algiers going to play every game, and then Khalil Herbert. It's like if he doesn't end up being the starter, am I too weak at running back? 3, 6, 7, 2. I don't like that. Chris is 2, 6, 8, 2 till the day he dies. I feel like I want a third quarterback here, though. I messed that up. I should have taken Trey Tucker instead of Gardner, or instead of Jordan Whittington, taken Gardner and then taken like Kamara, or not Kamara, Alexander Madison. That was a bit of a whiff by me, I think. Can I roll with 2 quarterbacks? I made the finals. Well, the team that made me all the money last season, my 2 quarterbacks were Goff and Geno Smith. Is this the same or better? Trevor Lawrence and Sam Darnold, Goff and Geno Smith. I think Geno Smith gave me like 16 points in week 17. Goff gave me 11 or something. It's tough. It's tough. Might just roll with two. Gardner Minshew. Might just roll with two quarterbacks. Pickens isn't good. Agreed. My man Jay Whitty. Thank you. What I used to say was like, he's not great, but his spectacular catch is like 99. And then I look it up, and his contested catch rate is like 36%. So no, it's not. It's not even a 99 spectacular catch. Like he has those super highlight film plays, but they're just so. It doesn't happen often. So I don't know. If he's somehow actually going to get open for 9 targets a game, then yeah, he's going to be a smash. But I don't think he does. I think their team's just going to be completely awful. The more that I think about it, even if they start Justin Fields, like he might be okay as a late pick for fantasy purposes, but this team is a disaster. Again, Malik, if you're watching this, I'm sorry, man. Don't be mad at me. This is a tough decision, though. I don't know what to do. Kind of wish I didn't take Jordan Whittington. Trey Tucker, Gardner Minshew, running back. I might just roll with 5 running backs. I have Tony Pollard. I think he's going to be the RB6, right? Do I want a 3rd quarterback or an 8th receiver? All right, I went with the receiver. I just don't know how much of a difference I need Gardner Minshew here. If I had like Devontae or Jacoby Myers, yeah, Gardner Minshew would be a smash with this playoff schedule with these correlations here. It's like I can take Gardner Minshew. I don't really want to take a Steam A with no playoff correlation. Madison would be the other guy I take, which I don't hate. Just get that like skinny stack with him and Trey Tucker. Like highlighted in green, by the way, just means that I have a teammate on the same team. Gold is with my quarterback. It's not bad to stack teammates. It's actually really good for regular season anyway, for advanced purposes. Let's see what these guys do. Maybe I get an idea. Tim Patrick, don't hate it. Aaron Tracy, Pierce, Justice Hill. It's getting pretty tough for me to click on Marshawn Lloyd. It's just I already have so much, and I'm not sure I want to add more because I'm a little nervous. I was convinced he was the RB2. I'm not convinced anymore. Audric Estime, he got what? 4 carries and a touchdown today. Never saw the field again. It's okay. He did enough. 5 carries and a touchdown. Nice. Oh, and a catch. It's a big day for him. Excuse me. Yeah. Just open up the play-by-play. Zach Wilson sacked. Yeah. Tucker Craft. Brown. Benson Ott. I don't know. Could be a breakout. Kind of like just taking Zach Ertz. Kind of worried Benson Ott's not going to run that many routes. Just going to be used for blocking purposes. Like he'll run some routes, but Johnny Smith could split time, but I'm not concerned about it. Just run straight and Tua will throw it to you, man. He only needs a few snaps to get there, and then those reports could just be overblown. Johnny's good. Johnny Smith is good at football. This guy took Madison, so all right, he made my decision for me. I guess we'll just run out with this 5 running back room. 3582, dude. I wonder if Chris is gonna approve of this. There's just no other running backs that like who. Even if I had like Deontay Foreman, all right, maybe he'll contribute a game or two in the beginning of the season. Miles Sanders, Kenneth Gainwell. I'm not desperate for a running back. I'd like to have another running back, but Maybe having the third quarterback option's better since my QB2 is Sam Darnold. But again, Sam Darnold, league average quarterback. He's finishing top 16. Book it. So, 3582. We have Jaguar stack, a Minnesota stack, and a Vegas stack. We didn't get our Green Bay correlation. That's a rare team. But we did get pretty good Week 17 correlation with Gardner Minshew versus Alvin Kamara, and then Trevor Lawrence and his guys versus Tony Pollard. It's a pretty great one. I'm pretty happy about that. Let's see what else I got in Week 17. Just Brian Robinson versus Tyler Algier and Drake London. So only three games of a Week 17 correlation. Probably one less than I would like, but still good. Week 16, not there. We're not really there in Week 16 correlation. Just two games, Houston, KC, and then we do have this fat Jacksonville Vegas game. So this is one thing I've talked about, having two players or like two quarterbacks from the same playoff game. It's just tough because if both of those, or if that game goes under and those quarterbacks both brick, it's like, yeah, I do have Sam Darnold to fall back on, but it's just really tough. So that's why we want to spread out our quarterback correlation. But my other argument is that this team is kind of dependent on that game going off already. Not super dependent. Like, I mean, Christian Kirk, Tony Pollard, and Gabe Davis. If they all brick, I can still advance. So it's not a, I guess it's not a big deal there. But made it to the end. I appreciate you watching. And just in case you're not signed up for Underdog Fantasy, if you use our promo code Occupy2, it's Occupy and the number 2, they'll match your deposit up to $1,000. We have 11 days till football season starts. If you're watching this video, I have to assume you're interested in best ball. I know $1,000 is a lot of money to put on one deposit, but there are ways to, deposit the 1,000, get those credits, and then you can use pick'em slips. It would have been great if you did it last week with preseason, but we'll have some information early in the season. We're still going to be doing shows once the NFL season starts. I'll be running some battle royales once or twice a week. We'll get some NBA content going on. But yeah, over this next week, our plan is to stream drafts as much as possible. We're going to rotate in hosts and, just have some fun with this last week. These draft rooms are crazy. So get your drafts in. I appreciate you guys watching, and we'll see you tomorrow.